In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus.
The one and only. I'm here.
You're still here.
Still kicking.
Still kicking. Yeah.
Just barely hanging on. Just.
One point, the Rona almost got you.
Rona did almost take me.
It did.
I overpowered that bitch,
You
though.
did. You said, you know what?
Too strong. Not today, Rona. I said, not today. Take my grandma. Take my grandpa.
Take everyone that I love, but not me.
But don't take me. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's what people were saying. Just let the old people die.
Oh, verbatim.
Let the old people die. They had their run.
They did.
They had their run.
Good time here on Earth.
Hell of a time they had.
They did.
They fucked things up right.
Right?
They did a great job of... Now it's our turn to fuck things up.
It is, and we're ready to get in that driver's seat.
I have never been more prepared. Let this guy start running things.
For real.
Let me have let me have my time, okay?
Mr. Kraus 2020?
Could it be worse?
It could not be worse.
I mean, what platform could I run on that could be worse than any other platform?
I don't see one.
You're right. So vote for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Today we are doing our TV Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
It's very special because we are starting a new show.
It's always special when we can get together and talk about a new TV show.
Yeah, absolutely. And our last show was The Outsider.
The Outsider, which
HBO,
was awesome.
which we loved.
We loved it. It was great.
Fucking loved it.
Ben Mendelsohn, you're one of the best.
Yeah.
Period.
He's listening too. He knows. Friend of the show. He's a big fan. But yeah, we love The Outsider, and but now we're going back to Netflix, back to streaming, back to our home where we feel comfortable, and we are reviewing. I almost have to look because I don't. Dead to Me. I don't want to say Dead Like Me because there is another show that was on in like the early 2000s called Dead Like Me.
Ah, okay. I see where the confusion.
They're running out of titles in Hollywood. If you didn't know. If you didn't know, there's apparently not enough originality in the world. But yeah, the new-ish show, I guess it's kind of new. It's on its second season.
And that's something we should talk about, too. We're doing something a little bit different for our TV Tuesdays because there are 2 seasons of this. This is just a general season 1 review. And then next week, we're going to jump into season 2.
Season 2. Then we'll all be caught up. I have no fucking clue if there's even a season 3 in the works.
I don't know, but...
I would assume so.
There's definitely a season 2 because that's season 1 cliffhanger.
Well, yeah, and season 2, it's already been released.
So we know
there's no cliffhanger for us.
In hindsight, a very stupid comment to make.
So it's definitely getting made. You are in the right. You are
right,
absolutely correct when you say that. But yeah, season 1, our review, what we thought about it. If I'll just tell you a little something about it. It's starring Christina Applegate, fucking amazing,
phenomenal,
absolutely amazing, and also co-star Linda Cardellini, who is a veteran actress in her own right.
Oh, and she's phenomenal. She actually worked with Ben Mendelsohn on Bloodline.
Yeah, but everyone will probably know her as Vilma from Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, yes.
That's when I just fucking fell in love with her, man. Well, I never thought Velma could be hot until the live-action Scooby-Doo, and then say what? She was the nerd. What is happening with me? This is, but she's been in so many things since then. I mean, for sure. But yeah, so it's Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini.
Yep.
And a bunch of other James Marsden's in it, I like in some things. He's great in this.
He's great in Westworld, too.
Great in Westworld, and he was actually pretty good in the last thing I saw him in was Sonic. the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah, he is. He's the lead in it.
He's surprisingly good, yeah. Well, he's not Sonic.
Okay, not Sonic, but I mean the best friend to Sonic.
So he's not the lead, I would say,
Okay.
but yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, he's definitely not the title.
He has
of it.
a prominent role.
Yes.
But yeah, he's all right in that, and he's good in this as well. Because he's always good at playing that kind of arrogant asshole. He's perfect for that.
Oh, yeah. Christina Applegate, the most famous role, and I know she's been in a lot of stuff, but Anchorman.
Married
I
with
loved
Children.
it. And ironically enough, the executive producers of this film are both Will Ferrell and Adam McKay.
Yeah, which when I saw that, I had no idea. I was
Like, what?
what the fuck is that's crazy? So they must have had some kind of role in the production or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's my guess.
But you could tell this show really surprised me. I did not know at all what was going into it, you know. For the first episode, you think it's just going to be this story of this woman who her husband was recently killed. Christina Applegate's husband, Ted, was recently killed in a hit and run. So I was really prepared to be just 10 episodes of her getting over that.
Kind of like a melodrama, kind of just
Yeah, exactly.
even keel.
And I
Yeah.
was really prepared to hate this fucking show. But the fucking, because, you know, melodrama, it hardly works for me.
Yeah,
It hardly works for me. But this show is not that at all. It is such
not.
a smart and witty, dark comedy. Super dark, super funny, though.
Yes.
Just, I mean, as funny as it is dark, and it is dark at points. Fucking
Very dark.
very bleak.
And the character development for only having 26 to 31 minutes per episode over a 10 episode period, it was incredible. How much how much they fleshed out these characters and how much you understood their point of view. And that I thought they accomplished that just amazingly.
Well, at some point, I really started keeping track because I was like, oh my God, every fucking episode we are finding something different out.
Yeah.
And every episode is a fucking cliffhanger.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, how long can they do this for?
To where it doesn't become
Yeah.
drawn out and, you're like, okay.
And it
geez.
never did. It kept going because every time it would give us a little and take a little.
And let's
So
talk
it would
about
reveal something, and then it'd be like, and then it'd be something else would open up, and be like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, this is even bigger now,
Right.
and it kept doing that. But
well, and that's kind of what we're talking about here with Judy and Jen was the first initial thing where they show up to this like hands of, you know, this grieving process, hands of heaven.
it's just a therapy group.
It's a therapy
for
group.
for people that recently have lost someone they love, died.
And there's this relationship that forms between Jen and Judy, but then it's revealed at the first episode that Judy lied about Ted, or not Ted,
Jen,
about
who
her
is-
boyfriend being dead.
Jen, who is Christina Applegate,
Applegate, and Judy being,
who is
Linda
Cardellini.
Cardellini.
Yeah,
Or Cardellini.
yeah. So, yeah, exactly. You know, and you think it's just going to be that, and then almost immediately you find out that Judy is lying about her husband. Immediately you find out, first episode, and you're like, oh fuck, that's a little crazy,
But then you
not
also-
totally out of the realm of
No.
disbelief, because you kind of get immediately that that Judy's kind of crazy,
Yes.
kind of nutty.
She's kind of nutty, but you also it does a great job of this, where you also sympathize with the character because she's had 5 miscarriages at 41 years old.
Well,
That's
at first,
sad.
I thought she was Fight Club in it, where she was just going to these meetings just to feel better about herself. You know, and I thought maybe this was some sick thing going on
Yeah.
where she's just doing it. But then, yeah, you find out that she was lying about her husband, but she's had 5 miscarriages, and that's
she's had a
the
lot
real
of trauma.
reason. But I don't know, you know, it seems like she could have gone to the trauma, and just
And just
opened
been
up with
honest
it.
Yeah, right away.
Like, we're
just
not
been honest about
judging
it.
here.
Yeah.
It's a church for one.
For
you
one,
could say anything. Yeah.
For 2, you've had a lot of losses. Like, it's
Yeah.
understandable, you know?
But yeah, so she does lie, and that grows. That immediately like flourishes this relationship between Jen and Judy.
Uh-huh. And I love the reveal of this, too. I did not see it coming at all. When she's like, yeah, I'm pulling up to your house right now. Because she saw the picture of her boyfriend and her together.
Yeah.
And she looks at the address. And then when
What a weirdo!
oh my gosh,
Just
I know.
shows up at her house.
I know. And then when he opens the door, he's like, who the hell are you? And I was like, oh my God, he's alive.
Yeah,
He's alive. It was a good turn for that very first episode. I was very impressed with
well, that is a great pilot episode. That's a good first episode.
Yes.
Something that immediately gets you fucking thinking like who these people are, what happened, and you know immediately that there's something more to Ted's death. where I thought going in, it was just going to be that drama about her getting over and finding this relationship with this woman. It's not. It's a mystery kind of the entire time. But yeah, we immediately find out that she was lying.
We see the Mustang because Jen's going around with Judy while they were friends. She's going around and she's like writing down every single time she sees a car that may have had a human that, a hit and run.
Not even that. Every time she's stopping and getting out and looking at the dent.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime
she
sees
and
a
human-sized
dent, she goes and because she's fucking hell-bent. It just happened. So she's bent on finding who this person is and that killed her loving husband. For now, we think the relationship is wholesome. But we find out Ted's a fucking asshole.
He is.
He was fucking...
He was cheating
on
his wife.
Not only that, he was cheating on his wife, but he was telling people his wife was dead.
So literally, he killed her.
Yeah, and it's this great thing because you slowly find that out, and then you find out, he kind of had like this pill addiction, and that he didn't have a job at all, and he was a stay-at-home dad / musician,
right?
Which just sounded like he played guitar and never had a job and smoked a ton of weed and did nothing.
It sounded like Kurt Cobain with children.
Yeah, exactly. And it's this crazy dynamic of like, of course the kids loved him because he was fucking cool as hell all the time. He let them do it, and then the mom was Christina Applegate. She was the one bringing like the bread home every night and whatnot. She was the one working, so the kids don't have the greatest relationship with her.
No, not at all.
You find out Ted was a fucking prick.
He was
big asshole,
and some of the reveal too. I like that originally before we find out that Ted or whatever. Jen lies to that detective and says, "Oh, he likes to run in vans." Yeah, because his feet, something about his feet getting more tough.
Well, we find out like episode 2 that that Judy was the one who killed Ted. You find out very early on that Judy killed Ted. Mm-hmm. And then you're thinking, well, fuck, how are they going to do 8 more episodes of this? Right. And now Judy is living, which is
living with Jen.
Yeah, because she found out about the miscarriages and everything. And she's like, "Oh fuck, well just come live with me." It's why, but you gotta. She's super. Christina Applegate. She plays it so well. She's very manic. She's very because her husband. So she doesn't really know what to do with herself. Yeah. But the kids play it off. It's written very well with the kids because the son is like, "What the fuck? You joined this group and in a day we got some random lady that you never met
living with us." Yeah, and. Hats off to that child actor because every single time he got in an argument with his mom, I could see the fury in his eyes too. So that kid did a real good job as portraying the asshole child.
Oh yeah, well, asshole. I mean, he was going through some very heavy shit.
In all fairness, he wasn't being the kindest to his mother. She was trying.
But what his mom was doing was looking very bad, especially what we find out later with the argument that they had with Ted. So you find out that the kid had good reasons, and he knew nothing about the dad being shitty. So I mean,
that is true.
In his head, that the dad's perfect. He doesn't know that she was cheating on her mom and also doing a bunch of pills and fucking dating this 19-year-old.
Well, he knows about the pills because he started dealing them.
Well, he knew after that.
Yeah, after the fact.
After the fact, yeah. Yeah, he does get a little dealing going on,
does.
He's a businessman.
Small business.
We need him in support of your small business.
Especially in these times.
Especially your local drug. Actually, drug dealers are probably doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Oh, people, a lot of a lot of home time, a lot of free time.
A lot of downtime to just do drugs.
A lot of downtime. I know that. But yeah. Great family drama. Great family dynamic between everyone. Even the kid who's like loves to dance.
Uh-huh.
There's always one in a family.
Yeah, of course.
That was you.
I loved all those church scenes too, where they're dancing and doing the choreography and the jumpsuits.
The like 8-year-old like.
Oh, and they even make jokes about that. They say that the choreography's a decade.
So weird, yeah. It's like, what were they called though? The Holy Hoppers or something like that.
But they would remake every song into like. It was
horrible.
So funny.
It's horrible, yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it's funny.
And all the jokes with Jen talking about, she's like, well, geez, I'm not trying to make it hell on my kids.
Oh, yeah.
When they have to go to church and stuff.
Well, and the mom she's like, wasn't religious at all. So the whole time she's like, fuck that. You are not going to that.
But the kid just wants to dance and nobody puts baby in a corner.
No, absolutely. We know that. Hey, Tell them they can't dance, they're just going to become great dancers.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. We know Michael Jackson.
I want to talk about real quick episode 3 because I thought it was a crucial episode. We get introduced to the mother in this episode, the mother of Ted.
Oh, she's a piece of work.
And man, is this woman something.
I mean, it's just it's very like stereotypical. Where she thinks the son was fucking perfect and whatnot.
And that the wife wasn't good.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, really? Well, why don't you look at the facts, Lorna?
Yeah.
Your son wasn't working, and your wife was his wife was bringing home all the money.
But so the way she made it sound was like Christina Applegate was the bad person. Like he was a great stay-at-home dad, and you were gone all the time. Well, yeah, she had to work.
Someone's got to pull in the money.
I know that was such a weird thing.
It was.
But still, your son dies. No one's gonna tell you. No one's gonna change your mind otherwise. No. You always have that preserved memory of like the best he was. But yeah, she was a horrible person.
Yeah, absolutely.
She brought the fucking cake when it wasn't supposed to be a birthday party or whatever, and made it all about herself.
Yeah,
put her own picture on the
dude. She is the most narcissistic woman I've ever seen in my life.
His 50th birthday about herself.
Her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's grandmas for you.
It is grandmas. Crazy grandmas.
You usually have one grandma who's just like the evil, and then one grandma who's fucking great. But it's always that one that you have that's just evil as
Luckily,
hell.
I had great grandmothers. So shout out to my grandmothers.
Shout out. All right. So I want to talk about episode 4. I think that's where things really start fucking kicking off, because that's when they confront Bambi.
88, who writes to Ted in the game chat, "Can't wait to see your cock," or something like that again.
Yes,
and I was like, okay.
And they haven't talked in months.
No, they have not.
But a great message to get if you haven't talked in months.
In a really good way, in a really, really good way to make it believable. Christina Applegate, Jen, she was just getting on that game to play with her son, to try to connect with her son when she realized that Bambi messaged Ted.
And then you realize that the dad wasn't even getting on to play with his son. He was getting on just to
chat with this woman.
Chat with who knows how many women.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had a lot of free time on his hands.
He did.
He didn't have a job. It's unbelievable when you don't work how much free time you have to go around cheating. So it's
So moral to the story, women out there, make your men work.
Oh yeah. Idle hands.
If they're not
idle
working.
hands, let's think about it, guys. Yeah, but that is a great episode, because they go and they confront that chick, and Judy ends up being like, yeah, that was my husband. And that's kind of how
Jen left.
And that's kind of how it is the entire series, is her taking like the dive for, because obviously she killed her husband.
She did.
So she feels like now she's like in debt and she's got to do all these things.
And
but
Judy's very spiritual too.
Yeah.
Spiritual.
So
she
believes
wants
in
to
the
make sure
moon
she can
and
make
shit.
amends to it.
Yeah, because she believes in bad energy and bad luck and all that shit, which she has had a string of bad luck. It turns out it's just because fucking James Marsden stole that rock.
Yeah, that was the big deal that they were freaking out about. I'm
She
like,
had
dude,
5 miscarriages because that goddamn rock.
relax, Judy. It's fine.
I don't know, man. I say take that fucking rock back. Things have been going bad.
Could be a subplot later on where it's like this evil spirit's chasing them.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so that's when and Bambi didn't even know. I mean, you feel bad for this girl.
Oh yeah, she didn't know.
Fucking Judy and Jen are just ragging on her.
Well, and to be fair, Ted told her that his wife had died. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right?
It's a very funny episode too, because they go to the restaurant and
she's like a ditzy 20-year-old.
It's one of those like Applebee's restaurants where they have like fucking food from, and you don't really know, is it like South? Is it like Mex-Tex, or is it like it's? But it's a very funny scene. It's very funny. But yeah, you find out that Ted's been telling everyone that fucking Jen's been dead.
Just brutal. I want to move on to episode 6. The highlight for me in episode 6 that I thought was so hilarious was the whole episode. It was dealing with that 9-year-old girl who was at the crime, or the scene of the crime. And she took home a souvenir.
She's a fucking serial killer.
But God, the mom was so funny. Oh, thanks. Now I got to deal with my daughter, who's a complete and utter sociopath. This is wonderful. Thank you.
And even like, it was funny because the kid, and you could tell the kid and the mom both, but they kept calling the body a corpse. And then the kid,
like, you can just say body.
And then the kid goes, "I took it off the cadaver," and the mom goes, "Body." But it made her look like a fucking psychopath
Psychopath,
that she
yeah.
took a fucking memento from. But kids are weird, you know.
Kids are very
They
weird,
see a dead
especially
body and there's no knowing
Oh,
what a
God.
kid is gonna
No.
do. They can't. They handle it. The brain
no.
breaks.
Yeah, the processing power.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not
exactly.
up to speed yet.
They
man.
have no idea. I didn't know people died until I was like 10.
Same.
I
I
thought
think that's about the right
I
thing.
thought people just left someday and you don't see them anymore. They
Yeah,
just
they're
go
just up
somewhere
in the
else.
sky, in
But
the clouds.
but that is a really good episode because
It is.
the kids start selling drugs and they do like a scared straight situation. Then they end up finding a real, gun.
And that's again where that threw me for a loop until he started going through his bag. I was like, oh, he's gonna find more drugs, and then he found a gun. I was like, oh,
We
shit.
skipped over the retreat they go on.
Oh, the grief retreat.
It's fucking funny.
Yes.
It's good where she's going. The guy that's in it, he's in a ton of stuff.
Yes,
a ton of
he
TV
is.
shows. He was in Reba, the Reba McEntire, and he was in Shameless also, if you ever watched that.
Mm-hmm.
But funny how he worked out because he promised his wife he'd never be weak.
And then they're in the middle of trying to have
I
sex,
got
and he
buff
says
for
that.
her. He kept saying it. It's like I couldn't pull her in. I just couldn't do it. So I knew I'd never be weak again. So he's just been working out. It's such a funny fucking
is.
and dark.
'Cause he couldn't pull her
super-
out of the boat.
Yeah, he could pull. So now he's just jacked, and that's all he can talk about is how I'll never be weak for her again. And in mid-sex, he's like, I got buff for her, and he keeps talking about it.
And she's like, oh, okay, we're not doing this.
But it's a really good episode. It's one of my favorites because her and the pastor, the regular pastor that she was a really dick to, they have a good moment during
they have
it.
a great moment. That's funny you bring that up. That scene, go back and watch that in episode 5. That is a picture perfect 1v1 acting class scene. It's brilliant. It touches on every single topic and every feeling you could possibly have. It was so many openings to interpretation.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the writing for that scene.
It was good.
Specifically.
That whole episode is a really good episode because
Yes.
it's like a turning point for almost all the characters.
Yep.
But
And we find out that the pastor's not perfect either. That he's
No.
got his own flaws too.
well, because
which
they're
is cool.
and they're all there because even the pastor, they're all there because they lost someone, so they can all connect over that shared experience.
The pastor, the first time we were introduced to the pastor and he tells about his grief story where his aunt, he's like, she fell down a bunch of stairs,
Yes.
bleeding everywhere. And it was because I asked her to go downstairs and grab me a soda. He's going to live with that guilt his whole life.
But that's the whole thing about the show does a very good job. It's very funny, but it does a good job of really showing the survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
You feel for because all of them they all blame themselves in one way or another for what happened, even though it's got nothing to do with any of them. But they all blame except for Judy, who actually killed someone. So she is actually to blame for that part. But yeah, it does a really good job of showing like that real emotion of grief and just how you go. Especially again, Christina Applegate, man, she goes through these crazy wide range. Like when they show her the pictures of Ted, the body, because they're close to finding out what the Ted, and then she breaks. I knew that was gonna happen.
Oh, dude.
I mean, immediately going in that she's thinking she's all tough, and she's thinking because he was such an asshole that she hates this guy now, and but not the case at all.
No.
You want to feel that, but
Well, and it was
she breaks down. It's such a good scene.
It was because she's with these rich elite people and they're going through this house because she's a realtor. That's what she does for her job. And she's going around showing, and this woman's being like so pretentious. She's like, "Oh, is this mahogany wood or is this carbon whatever?"
It was so that
And then she's like, "Shut the fuck up, you fucking cunt! Do I look okay?"
yeah. But that
flips out.
I love that scene of how they shot that scene where it's like just focusing on the lady. Is it carbon or is it? And she kept going back and forth, and it made you just want to fucking blow your brains
It
out.
did. I don't know how people do that.
I don't know how
job for a
realtors.
living.
I don't know how realtors do it.
No,
no.
I don't know.
But
You got
yes,
to pretend to be so into those just
oh yeah.
narcissistic shitballs.
Look
Like,
at this
ugh.
deck, that fucking deck. Look at the finish on that
Yeah.
deck. And you gotta pretend like you got the biggest boner for decks.
Right. And
Like-
it's just it's a deck, man.
Unless it's got maybe a half pipe in it or something like that. Or there's
Yeah.
some kind of some kind of element to a deck, like a slide maybe.
Right, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be
A
awesome.
slide or
But I can only I talk about a deck for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only do it if it has some kind of a bowl maybe for skateboarding.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like a little bowl
something
for
something cool,
skateboarding,
but
yeah.
you can only. But hey, that's why they do it. It's why they make they make pretty good money
Oh,
too.
hell yeah, they do.
Realtors.
Oh, yeah.
Commission.
Oh yeah.
It's
For
all
sale.
commission. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's a
But,
good. It's a good gig.
But yeah, it's oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's crazy because she gets into it where she keeps trying to go back to work, but obviously there's not a really ever a good time for this to go back to work.
No.
But she can't sell shit. She's a horrible realtor
At this point, she is. Yeah, before all this, she was a great realtor, and then her partner ends up leaving her.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably best for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to make money too. And he's not making any money with her.
He is
And it's a
not.
weird partner realtor system. Like I've only seen like husband and wife do it, where it's like it's a tag team thing.
They're
I
just like friends?
I don't want more than one realtor at my house.
No. Well, then you're not getting as much
Attacking me
commission.
with fact. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got to split commission.
Yeah, for sure.
Who wants to do that?
But she does end up making it big because there's a big twist.
There
Well, there's about 90.
There's a lot of twists in this. Twists
But
and turns.
There's a big twist that James Marsden's character, who was with Judy. When it was both of them together, they hid the car and everything. They did all this together. They were together. And then Judy says they broke up because of miscarriages, which it wasn't. It was because they murdered a guy together.
Of course.
You could put a rift between any relationship.
You know,
we've seen it time and time again.
Yep. We have.
It doesn't grow a bond. It usually just closes
Shortens
it.
it.
Up.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so he's like this big rich businessman though. He's got a ton of fucking money.
Oh, yeah.
Ton of money, and he ends up saving Christina Applegate's ass at the end by paying 2 mansions in cash.
In cash is what
And
it
they were
said.
$4.3 million each.
Yeah, so it would be like 9.7 altogether.
Yeah. And he paid in fucking cash. And this whole time he's going back and forth. Him and Judy have this crazy relationship where he's a piece of shit. And it's this dynamic that really works because they're both in these crazy relationships, these super unhealthy, her, Judy, and Jen, you know.
Yep.
And it ends up bringing them super close together because they have relationships. But yeah, he tries to help her because he also knows that fucking Judy killed her husband. So he pays for the commission, but it ends up he's a fucking money launderer.
He's a launderer, yeah. And ends up screwing over Jen.
Yes.
Because she goes to Lorna,
Well,
which
it
is
ends
Ted's
up
mom.
being such a fuck up mess.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it like until the last 5 minutes, it's gonna all work out. I mean, it didn't even matter if she murdered fucking Ted. It was all gonna work out, and then at the very end, the very last episode,
Oh, my gosh.
we get
Judy
telling her that she killed Ted.
Yeah. And wow. Again, for both ladies, what a scene, what a performance. I loved Christina Applegate. There's something about the way that she looks, you know, like in very serious moments where it's just like, whoa, you can see it in her face. You can see like everything that's building up inside of her. She has a very wide range.
Well, this is
super impressive.
This is her best acting role, for sure. I mean, she was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actress for this role for this first season. Absolutely,
she deserved it.
Just killed it. I can't believe how good she was, man. And she is the entire time. She's like on the very last thread. Like you can tell the entire time she's just this close to snapping.
Well, yeah,
and she snaps throughout. I mean,
little snaps.
that whole thing of her being like try to get someone to fuck her during the retreat and everything, and she was drunk at like 10:30 a.m. because she fucking hated Ted, and then all this shit happens, and then she's almost poor, and then James Marsden ends up helping her out, and now all that's gonna go away because Judy, to save her own ass, because Judy
Threw
is
Ted under the bus too.
Judy's a sociopath.
She is
100%. She's at some episodes she's even scary because you're not sure like
she's a weird stalker either.
She's a weird stalker, and she's also is so like almost far gone because of the 5 miscarriages you seem that she could like go either way.
Well, and Steve said something very interesting to Jen early on in the show. She goes, "Be careful with Judy because chaos seems to follow her."
Yes,
and they tie that in at the end of the season too.
And it's true. It almost is like she's like a Loki.
She is.
Like
chaos follows.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like I mean, and the fact that she's had 5 miscarriages, like it's shitty to say, but in this dynamic, it's almost like it's her.
She's the bad omen.
Yeah. which is crazy because then you're thinking as a character, obviously she's thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Everything bad happens.
Which
to me.
again is why the character is probably so spiritual.
Oh yeah,
Because they're trying to
spiritual, which like she doesn't believe in God or anything. She's
No,
like it's
she,
one
like,
of those
likes
astrology.
sage and
Yeah,
burns.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which isn't helping her.
Foo-foo stuff.
It's not helping. Judy, get the hint. Nothing good
Nothing
has
is
happened to you.
helping. Yeah.
Something I got to talk about, which was an awesome character, was Ed Asner's character as, the old man that Judy takes care of.
Yes.
Ed Asner, who's he's been working consistently, I think,
Forever.
for 80 years. His first role was in 1952. I looked it up.
Jesus.
That guy's been working consistently for 70 years. He is the most decorated Primetime Emmy Award nominee, Ed Asner. He's won 7 Primetime Emmys, and he is great in this, man.
Yeah,
He's like the anchor, and
he's the one kind of, in a lot of ways, keeping Judy together, too.
yeah, exactly. Judy and Jen at one point, because remember, Jen comes in, and he's like, it's not your fault either, and he's always there.
Yep.
But then the very fucking end, it's so, the end is a tragedy, the last episode. But he ends up dying.
He passes away in his sleep peacefully, is what they said. But Judy comes to talk to him because this is right after she confessed.
Yeah.
And so she needs someone to talk to. She just needs Abe, and then she walks in, and of course, the stereotypical thing, they're folding up the bed sheets, and
Yeah.
you know right then and there Abe's gone.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know at all what the second season, and the entire
Nor do
time
I.
during the first season, I'm like, where the fuck are they going to take this? This is crazy. I can't believe it's going to keep going from here. But you got to think Judy is just going to be fucking out of her gourd crazy.
Oh, for sure. Bonafide crazy.
Because it ends with a detective finds out that Judy killed.
Not
Ed.
just a detective.
The detective she was
she was
dating.
dating and then left for Steve.
And the detective she hired the
the whole thing, yeah. So
that's
she,
a crazy dynamic.
crazy.
Was she got this guy to fucking investigate her murder?
right, and it was almost like a survivor's guilt kind of thing. Not
Yeah.
survivor's guilt, but whatever kind of guilt. And that's why she was trying to like help this detective solve the case that she was the prime suspect.
You can't get in her head. You
No.
just can't. I mean, that's the thing where it's like, oh, I think again she's so far gone that she really is like she's got to be like in a fucking hospital.
Yeah, she should be.
'Cause she's doing-
a psych evaluation.
Yeah, because obviously she's nuts. She fucking moved in to the house
Of
of
the
the
person
widow
that you
she
killed.
murdered. Yeah.
Yeah, like that should be a huge red flag right there.
But she's a great character, man.
definitely.
A great character and probably a really fun character to write for as well, because you could do
'cause
anything.
you can
with
go anywhere with that.
And you find out that at first you're thinking she's poor the entire time, but fucking James Marsden's character is laundering her
Shell company. Her paintings go from anywhere from $9,000 to
to 20, depending how big
$20,000.
they are. Yeah,
So she's filthy
she's
rich.
fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's just letting everything happen because she's just kind of floating by. And fuck, if I was in her shoes too, I would just kind of let it happen as well.
Oh, of course. Well,
like,
I mean, if you're
I
making that
can't-
kind of money.
I can't do anything where just people's lives. I would go and like move into the forest or some shit in a hut. She's ruining lives.
She is.
So I don't know. What is second season going to hold?
Well, we didn't talk about the biggest thing at the very, very end of episode 10, and that is Steve goes over to Jen's house to talk to her, to remind her basically that I told you chaos follows wherever Judy goes.
Yes.
But then we get that scene where the gun is drawn.
Oh, no, it's not drawn where she's just,
What's
she's just yeah, I wouldn't say.
The
Way you word it makes it sound like she flipped the gun on him. Like, wait 1 sec, Steve, you piece of shit. Like,
Well, she did get it from her safe, though.
well, yeah, but the very last scene is her just carrying the gun, but I think that's for Judy.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think that's for Judy, yeah.
But he confides in her that he was with Judy.
Oh, yeah.
When they hit Ted.
Yeah, but I mean, for all she knows, Steve's just the fucking, the moron. I mean, he's just along for the ride, and he is. He's a very funny character, but I mean, every time they like go into his office, and he's talking about nothing. It's like the most stereotypical fake businessman. But yeah, I think it's for Judy, man. I mean, it's fucking, what we know from Christina Applegate's character, Jen, is she's just
So then
she's do, then think later.
Right. So then the big mystery is what happened to Steve. What do you think happened to him? Because we're not into season 2 yet.
He's going to get him arrested for money laundering.
No, he was dead in the pool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot.
So he's not
yeah,
going to get arrested for shit, Jack.
Well, I don't know, but I just know that that James Marsden is in the second season.
What?
That's all I know. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I just know he's in the second season.
Oh, my God. I got to start watching the second
Yeah,
season then. This
so-
is so confusing.
So I have no idea what happened to him. That's why I was getting confused. Because
Yeah.
I just saw that. But yeah. So yeah, he's dead. Someone killed him.
So
Okay,
it must
but
just be a bunch of
Because the
flashbacks.
cops, right? The very last scene is the cops going through Judy's storage locker because she kept all this information to store
On Steve.
because she's obviously a fucking super villain. But she kept all this information because she knew that she would have to blackmail him.
But that smart detective goes on the ground and knows the oil on the ground.
Yeah. But at this point, that's not even
It doesn't matter.
money laundering.
Or a
And a
hit,
hit
and
and run that was like done on accident, kind of, into a guy that was. I mean, for that detective, that oil slick would be like, that means nothing. He's laundering, obviously, probably hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And
You saw those bank accounts.
he was laundering money. We got a hint
From
that
the Greeks.
and we got a hint that his dad was really, really rich too, and he knows all the sheriffs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Greeks might have killed him.
Could have.
Those fucking Greeks.
Greeks.
Who knows, man?
Oh, man.
It was good though. I love the first season.
Yeah, I'm glad you like this because I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this show too, and I thought the performances were just phenomenal.
Oh, they were great.
honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is our. Is that it?
That's it. That's all I
Alrighty,
got.
That's all I got too. Season 2 coming next week for our TV Tuesdays. That wraps it up for our TV Tuesday. Dead to Me Season 1. If you guys are watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification. We drop videos here every single day. Audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Social medias, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram. Have You Seen It? Facebook. Have You Seen a Podcast? Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Bye.